to the Perth Wildcats. Of course, the Wildcats trying to stay in touch with those top teams across the competition. Now, I want to talk to you about Sportsbet's feed. It's the only place to go when you're looking to copy and follow the best bets in the business. Lana Copeland's on there, and he's a shrewd operator when it comes to the NBA. I've got the Sydney Kings there as my championship pick, so make sure you jump on the app and check out Sportsbet's feed. You can share, you can copy, you can follow other people's bets. Enjoy the game.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
The team's focus right now has been trying to turn this thing around. We have a lot of confidence in that locker room.
I'm really proud of the guys, for the fighting. We fed up each other's energy and we played amazing.
We're ready to go here at John Cain Arena.
Let's get stuck into it.
Ripping it through the ring. Oh, dear me.
Weekman took it to the rack and stuffed it.
Get into the paint, get great shots.
Almanza responds.
Nice pass for Malik Lewis.
The next stars putting on a show, the kids of the competition.
Sobey in attack mode. That'll get him going.
Doolittle. He's flexing his muscles as well.
That's a pretty shot, isn't it?
Nothing but the bottom of the net.
Hello and welcome to John Cain Arena. The Southeast Melbourne Phoenix taking on the Perth Wildcats. Two teams starting to find their stride in NBL25. Josh King, he's taken the reins for game 2 for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, and no Bryce Cotton for the Wildcats, but it's no worries because they are starting to climb their way up the Mitsubishi Motors standings. I am flanked by legends today, Derek Rucker, Andrew Gaze. Big game, a lot on the line for both teams.
It certainly is, and both these teams had wins on Friday, but in completely different fashion. The Perth Wildcats, they won magnificently, shooting the ball in a very aesthetically pleasing game. Unlike the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, they had to grind it out, but every win for them is desperate night right now. 3-6, they've still got some heavy lifting to do, but I like the way they're starting to turn their season around.
Well, Josh King comes into this game, his first head coaching position as a Phoenix head coach, but it's his first home game, and now he gets an opportunity to show what he can do in front of these home fans. And the Phoenix have started off continuing what Sam McKinnon built upon. He basically salvaged their season, Andrew.
Whoa.
And now the Phoenix can implement a few of the Josh King concepts and see if they can carry forward.
Well, the Phoenix are starting to turn their season around, and it's very much thanks to this man, the most consistent player in the NBL right now.
Yep.
9 straight games, 15+ points, Casey. He's one of the best in the league.
He certainly is, and he can beat you in so many different ways. He can get to the rim, he's got that nice touch. Now, speaking of aesthetically pleasing, the shot is not that, but the most important thing is it goes in, and in big moments he's stepping up. That was a match-winning play, that 3-ball, and they're going to him, and they're designing their season around him, as they should. He right now would be a candidate for MVP.
Well, they told me that the Wildcats couldn't win without Bryce Cotton, but then Ben Henschel stepped up. The young fella had his breakout game against Illawarra.
Well, Ben Henschel is a young player who has an outstanding reputation based on his potential. A lot of NBA scouts are very keen to see what he can do. Now look, same time last year in this venue, he had a big-time game against Southeast Melbourne, but he was key the other night in Perth. He came out of the gates, he provided offensive punch, and it was outstanding and a true indication of what he can do as a player in the NBL.
Ben Henschel certainly plenty of room for his game to keep growing, but it's time to cross down to step 4, Gardel, because Jesse Wagstaff's about to enter rarefied air.
He absolutely is, Felix. Jesse Wagstaff is not just a club legend, he's a league legend too. He's a 6-time NBL champion. He's played for 16 years, and today he adds to that resume by surpassing Ricky Grace to play the most games out of any Wildcats player in history. 483 games and still going. It's a phenomenal effort. To honour the occasion, we thought we'd mic him up as part of our Harvey Norman in the Zone coverage.
Is that they're going to edit it and make you look like such a good dude with all the communications, and there's going to be so many missed parts where you're like, He's a bad bloke, but you can't put it in. Don't tell everyone I'm an asshole.
Thanks, mate. Good luck today.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Yep, you're doing it, KP. What are you on, G-Dub? You scared today? Oh. I'm ready, G-Dub. I'm ready still.
The legend of the game, Jesse Wagstaff, and it's time to throw down to another set of legends. Take it away, Jack Everett.
Thank you very much, Felix. Glad you stayed there because Gazy had already taken off. We are set to go for Sunday hoops here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. The Phoenix have lost their last 6 at home, but Derek Rucker, you touched on it. There's a different feel about this group in the last 3 weeks.
And there certainly is, and I think the team believes in themselves. Andrew, they found some defensive starch somewhere along the line, and they've really improved on both ends of the floor. This is going to be an outstanding contest.
Starting 5 for the Wildcats, Doolittle, Henschel, Pinder, Todd Withers starting this afternoon as well. And Elijah Pepper for the Phoenix, Hunter, Glover, Sobey, Hurt, and the next star, Malik Lewis. Great to have your company around Australia and around the world. First of a Sunday doubleheader with Sydney and Tasmania to come. Sobey top of the key. That first look barely draws iron. Angus Glover out there as the starting point guard. It's been a move that has worked for the Phoenix in the last couple of rounds. Malik Lewis, the next star.
Drew, that was a nice play phase on both shots. Sobey came off of an action, got a really good look at it, and then they were patient after the offensive rebound and get a really good 3-ball.
Yeah, and this team's going to be continuing to adjust as Josh King finds his way in the league, and also Derek Walton Jr. not being available. This guy here, Angus Glover, has come on and played 29 minutes the other night and was pretty effective in a patient display by him.
Smart by Pinder initially, kept it alive. His jumper doesn't go. 29-6 when the teams met in round 1 at Hoops Fest. Keanu Pinder.
Good shot. Up.
Just over a minute gone.
Weak.
Todd Withers works that one down to Doolittle. Again with the shot clock expiring, a wide open Elijah Pepper. That's what he's out there to do.
That's a big hit for Pepper. Outstanding shooter of the basketball. And Drew, the challenge for this Perth team is going to be, can that style of play that's gotten them wins at home travel?
Right back at you. We got Sobey. Counters, no, I think Pepper's going to be a really good player in this league. However, his numbers are down. His shooting percentages aren't great. And for his confidence to see that first one go in, but one thing's for sure, he's not afraid of the big moment and very aggressive on the offensive end. Only shooting at 37% from the field, 25% from the 3, but when you get really good looks like this, that's wide open. He earns more respect, but straight away, the penetration and dish out from Sobey, he's knocks down his second 3-point field goal attempt.
And Jack, in that Amy replay, you saw 2 guys with different styles of shooting the basketball, but both with nice form. And you would expect that Nathan Sobey, as this season goes on, that his percentages would increase, as would Elijah Pepper.
Might just be a sneaky Rookie of the Year candidate, Elijah Pepper, to keep an eye on across the season. Yep, still a long way to go. Hunter rolls to the basket. Pinder saw it coming. In the open floor, he's a hard man to stop because he's so athletic.
And a big man, the ability to handle the ball, it's almost a requirement the way the game's played these days. Big men have got to be able to take it from one end of the floor off the bounce. Back in Derek Rucker's day, he'd be screaming at the big man.
True.
Hey, know your spot. Get your big butt on the box and get me the ball.
Accurate.
Here is Keanu Pinder.
That's just great action right there from Pinder. Strong left-hand finish.
This time takes it straight through the middle of Geordie Hunter. He started in a rush.
Just made space for himself. Right to the chest of Geordie Hunter. And when he can get that close to the basket, it's just got to hope he misses.
Malik Lewis thought about it. Sobey checks the feet, checks the ball, checks the grip, and knocks it down.
Sobey's being a very aggressive player. He's attacking a lot, trying to get to the bucket, and that attack led to an easy look for himself from the corner.
Wildcats were involved in an old-fashioned shootout on Friday night against Illawarra. This one's a very offensively minded start as well.
The tempo's is good. Both teams prepared to really get into their action quickly. The one thing you've got to see the foul down low, and Withers trying to get in front of Geordie Hunter. One thing we see, Sobey has had his problems from the three-point line, checks the feet and knocks it down. But Josh King is all about defense and defensive pressure. Every single possession, every made basket, he's right in front of him. He's barking at his guys. He wants them to pick him up full court, and they haven't been all that successful at doing it just because of the pace of the play of the Wildcats right now.
Glover crosses over. Beautiful move and one.
Andrew, I talked about in the opener, the organization on the offensive end is definitely heightened from the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix with Angus Glover at the point. He's not a traditional point guard, but he's patient and he has a high basketball IQ and knows when to find his spots.
Well, there's a really soft switch there by Pinder, and if you're going to switch, you've got to keep him going towards the sideline. And when he was able to cut back into the middle, it was always going to be an easy one. Hello, Geordie Hunter, making a statement with the block.
Lewis puts the ball on the floor. This is a red-hot start from the Phoenix, who lead by 3. Hurt got too little, up in the air partially, settles with a mid-range jumper. 14-9 early on.
Great patience from Hurt and Sobey there. They both looked for early shots and weren't there, and they got a really good look as Pinder lets one fly, no good. Phoenix up and away.
No Bryce Cotton still, no Dylan Windler today as well for the Wildcats, missing with shin soreness. Derek Walton Jr. not out there for the Phoenix still with a hamstring issue.
Well, Derek, you talked about the organisation of the Phoenix, and I don't think we've necessarily seen any radical sets as we see that nice block by Geordie Hunter. But what sticks out to me is the way in which they're spacing the floor. And even that was another example of it. They're all in their spots on the weak side, and really putting some pressure on the rotations and the help, and how far you can come off your player.
Sobey inside for Vodanovic, who thought he was being held. Here's Ethan Almanza, the next start. And Webster used sparingly on Friday night against Illawarra in his return from injury. Pepper with the shot clock at 7. Kicks it out for Doolittle. Bottom of the net. He's been shooting at 18% for the season. He's a better shooter, and that showed why.
Sobey turns it over again.
Here comes Pinder. That time good deep from Vodanovic. Sobey's got Hurt. He scores from close range.
Drew, there's not a lot of flash about Matt Hurt's game, but he's highly effective. Knows how to shoot the ball, knows when to take his opportunities.
Well, he's a stud. He's a keeper. Let's hope that he's around in this league for a long time, because he is a high-impact player.
Ben Henshaw getting sent to check in. Hyman Harris as well. Joe Wieskamp starting to find his feet here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Hurt for 3. It's good.
Keep it simple. Find your space, catch it, shoot it, knock it down.
7 points on 3 and 3. Glover came up with a steal on the layup. Timeout Wildcats. Josh King in his first day as coach on his home floor is off to a dream start.
Well, he certainly is, and Matt Hurt, he's been incredibly efficient. He's made at least 2 3-pointers in all these games he's played, and Angus Glover might have got a flat tire. Normally you see him go upstairs and throw that one down, but just lays it in. They all still count as 2, Derek.
Tangerine timeout, it's 21-12, and Steph Baumgartel caught up with the new coach of the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix pre-game.
Obviously a phenomenal game on Friday night. What did you like most?
We didn't rebound. We gave up 19 offensive rebounds. So when you do that, the odds of winning aren't in your favor. But luckily, we were able to come out on top.
And did you watch much of Perth's match on Friday as well?
I watched the second half in the hotel with the guys. I know, and then I watched the second half later on. But very talented team. Got a lot of good players. Obviously, Cotton's out, but they've got guys stepping up, and we're going to have our hands full tonight.
How do you make sure that they don't have that same offensive explosion today?
Yeah, we got to get to their shooters. We can't let them be as comfortable, I think, as they were on Friday night. But again, they've got really good players, and we're going to have our hands full.
We had the chance to chat to Josh King pre-game. Derek, he came over and introduced himself, and I think one thing's very clear. He knows what he wants from this group.
He does, and he's excited to be here and have this opportunity, Jack. You can see he really values it, cherishes, has been a fan of the league for a very long time. And I like the way early on, Andrew, Josh King has his team functioning.
Oh, for sure. And I think your point earlier on about Sam McKinnon setting the table for him, though, is a valid one.
Interesting lob from Doolittle. He was telling us that he'd be coaching in Germany in the Bundesliga and he'd stay up until late in the morning or early in the morning, I should say, and watch NBL games. He's got a very clear idea of how things are played here.
He's got a familiarity with a couple players, Andrew, he said. Sam Wardenberg, Ariel Laporte.
He's played with his teams over in Europe. In Turkey, I think it was, when he was there.
Germany and Turkey. And Matt Hurt continues to put the hurt on the Perth Wildcats.
One thing's for sure with this high-octane defense that he's trying to play, he's rotating his guys in and out. Owen Foxwell wasn't there against the Jack Jumpers a couple of nights ago, so he should be fresh. But
Drew, this guy's unstoppable. He's 5 of 5 from the field for 11 points. I thought he was good. He might be MVP level good.
I don't be jumping on now just because I ran with it in the pregame.
Yeah, Copes and I ran with it last week and we got laughed at on Twitter. Doesn't look so silly now. Harris from outside, an unlikely three-point shooter. Hiram Harris, first knockdown of the year.
And a needed one.
It's this end of the floor with Perth Wildcats that really got to pick up their game. Giving up 76% from the field. Oh my goodness! Hurt! Just as comfortable as you like. You cannot let him just stay there stationary, catch and shoot. Got to make him put it to the floor. He's up to 14 points on a perfect 6 of 6.
And then a sloppy turnover from the Wildcats. The Phoenix are feeding off the energy in this building right now.
Well, that's 5 turnovers for the Wildcats. John really is going to have to make an adjustment on Matt Hurt, because if Foxwell is able to create space like that, you're going to have to let Foxwell make a play and shoot it, because that right there is not a good option. Matt Hurt is outstanding.
A Wieskamp drives, got past Henschel. They're getting whatever they want right now.
Well, they are. And a lot of it's because they're knocking down the 3-ball. 5 of 7. Henschel just pulling up the wild 3.
Hustle from Foxwell. 30-17. Foxwell drives and scores.
We saw these teams play against one another out in Perth, Andrew. This Phoenix team is nothing like that team.
Well, they're white hot at the moment, 32 points, and some of that you can attribute to just some missed assignments on the defensive end, but a lot of it, it's just the aggressive nature of Phoenix as Geordie Hunter comes in for Matt Hurt, just to give him a quick breather, I suspect, before.
But Andrew, the Phoenix are 13 of 16 from the field, 5 of 7 from the 3, and what I love, 7 assists. They're playing together. They understand where their shots are supposed to come from and how they're supposed to get them.
Yeah, the 5 of the 7 for the 3 has really got the Perth Wildcats defense spread. And when they're so spread, we've seen Foxwell and Glover be able to get to the paint and finish around the rim.
They're second last in the competition, three-point shooting percentage. Did Jesse Wagstaff in the record-breaking game. How's that for a start?
And Jesse's ever reliable. That shot right there kind of symbolizes his experience.
Josh King's not going to tolerate. He's going to hold these players accountable because he didn't like the fact that Jesse Wagstaff got open, and straight away he points to Matt Kenyon and gets him to sub in. And is explaining to Matt Kenyon right in front of us.
The explanation was pretty straightforward.
But this is going to be interesting because he's coming from Europe where it's a lower possession league. So every mistake on the defensive end counts for more. Our league is slightly different, Andrew. We like to emphasize defense. We understand the importance, but more defensive mistakes have been acceptable.
Well, one thing's for sure, he's not playing his offensive style like it's typically Europe. As Harris says, Jack, what are you talking about? I made one, and now I'm just going to step up and make two.
This was not on the Sunday bingo card. Hiram Harris with 2 threes in the first quarter.
Well, now the Wildcats are 5 of 7 from the 3.
They were 9 of 12 in the first quarter on Friday night. Here's Malik Lewis. Offensive rebound by Hunter. He puts it back in. That's 35 first quarter points for the home team.
And this was always going to be the challenge, Drew. Could that Perth Wildcat style of play and the defense travel? It's all well and good to be doing it in front of the Red Army, but can you do it out here in hostile circumstances?
Couple of seconds difference between game and shot clock. Withers has to dump it off. Michael Harris off balance. Doesn't get it to drop. The best quarter that we've seen from Southeast Melbourne in this NBL 25 season. 35-23, they lead after 1 on Sunday Hoops. Very quickly, Southeast Melbourne Phoenix fans have warmed to Matt Hurt. They're calling him the Hurt Locker. And he put Perth in that Hurt Locker in the first quarter. 14 points on a perfect 6 of 6.
And I love the simplicity of what he does, Jack. When he has the opportunity to let it fly from the 3, he does so. And he's great from inside the paint. That's an early shot there from the Wildcats. But Andrew, I know you love his style of play.
Oh no, he's a beauty. Like I said, he's a keeper, and he plays with good basketball IQ, very skilled. Henshaw just powering his way to the basket, but they're going to have to do something about what's going on in the defensive end. They're giving up the 3rd highest first quarter points in the season so far with that 35. Oh.
Wieskamp trying to dribble through Harris. That's a little too easy. Steph, you were listening to John Riley at quarter time.
Sure was, and Gazy was bang on. He's pretty happy offensively, but says defensively the execution is lacking. He needs them to make the most of the rebounding effort to close the gap this quarter.
And that makes sense. If they can tighten up defensively, and that potential is turning this into his own personal shoot-around.
Well,
I understand that he's feeling good and probably very confident based on what he did Friday night, but this is the challenge as a young player to still be able to pick and choose your moments.
No, for sure, and it'll test your confidence and your resilience when you throw up a couple of air balls from the three-point line.
26 points on Friday night, career high for Ben Henschel. The breakout game, as Felix mentioned pre-game, we've all been waiting for. Wieskamp aggressive. It'll be a Perth ball.
And I think Joe Wieskamp can find an effective role in this team with better organization, with better structure. He's been the more maligned of the three imports so far this season. I think he's capable of playing a very productive role in this team, and a team that does well.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt at all. He's got some good skill sets. He's well qualified with some of his previous playing history.
Deep from Sobey. Webster tried to back him down. Wieskamp snuck out the back. Michael Harris got his money's worth on the foul.
And credit to Nathan Sobey, who did a good job defensively one-on-one on the other end. A strong contest on the shot, head up, kick ahead to Wieskamp. And another area of growth with this Phoenix team since the departure of Mike Kelly has been on the defensive end. They're now 5th in the competition with defensive rating and continuing to climb. Thus far, they've looked solid in this one, Jack.
This is an area that Wieskamp's had some challenges with.
53% for the season.
Doesn't make sense.
No. The guy's got a reputation as a knockdown shooter.
That's a foul!
Sobey got a big chunk of the ball, but John really thought he got a good chunk of arm too.
Well, to me, it was more with the body than the arm, but it was a real aggressive play. Have a look here. Oh, that's a foul.
$37-25 here at John Cain Arena. Pinder got out of the gates quickly, but Hunter's started to square the ledger in that battle.
Set one, roll. Set it, roll.
Wieskamp in the mid-range. Off the back of the iron. Lewis has a fumble. Webster downhill quickly. Great take from Ty Webster.
Ty Webster's lifted his game since coming back, and with the injury to Bryce Cotton. Now, I know John really going to be really upset because he feels what is being allowed on the other end when his team gets the ball is being called as a foul on the other end.
Well, they do attack the rim well, the Perth Wildcats. In fact, they're first in free throw attempts, 23 a game. So they are getting rewarded when they get there. And that time there, I don't think Rivers had too much to complain about. The area that's really hurt them, the Wildcats, is just their general field goal percentages, and in particular the three-point field goal percentages, only at 32% collectively.
Top of this comes out. Elijah Pepper back in. If you missed Friday night, one of the most entertaining games of the season. Perth winning 113 to 105 over Illawarra in a total scoring frenzy.
There we go!
Now we're starting to get there.
Talk now!
And another capable perimeter player, Michael Harris, knocks one down. Sobey right back at you.
Webster in rhythm. 15 points in 18 minutes on Friday night.
Move it!
Efficient as always. Down to Pinder. This time with a left hand. Too good, too strong. Timeout, Southeast Melbourne. This is a good run here from the Wildcats.
Good fight back from the Wildcats as Josh King has some words with Jordy Hunter, trying to get him to understand what his defensive concept are. And to cut that lead to 7 so quickly is outstanding work from the Wildcats.
39-32, and Bunnings backing ballers. It's a great initiative. It's taking your game from the local court to the big time. Young ballers right across the country have got the opportunity to sink buckets with the NBL stars right throughout this NBL 25 season. It's easy to be involved. You can apply online today and step onto an NBL court after the final buzzer. So when they finish today, with thanks to Bunnings Warehouse backing local ballers, it's just the beginning.
One of the most beautiful places to visit is Bunnings. Love it. Love everything about it.
Snag.
Just get a snag before you go in, and then just check out all the different appliances.
Are you onion or no onion on the snag?
I like a bit of onion, for sure.
Cheese?
But
cheese?
Sprinkling, a little bit of grated.
What?
Yeah, very nice.
Yep, thank you, Andrew.
But
you can take that back to Brisbane with you tonight.
What is also very nice is this response by the Perth Wildcats. And the way Phoenix are playing, they're going to give you a chance, a couple of early shots. And that last one in particular by Nathan Sobey, and I know he's already knocked down a couple, but just being aware of the momentum of the game and the way in which the score's been going against you, I'm not sure that that was the preferred option of Josh King. If that shot comes in the last 8 seconds of the 24, then we're okay. But in the first 4 seconds, I'm not so sure.
Nice hands from Pepper. 9-4 start to this quarter for Perth. Here comes Pinder. He misses the layup. Malik Lewis flies up the floor at the other end. This next star has got some serious skills.
I read during the week that they've been doing a lot of work with his ball handling, and you saw a good example of there in the open court. Nice finish.
Harris blocked by Sobey.
We gotta have a foul.
He's asking for a review.
Yes. Black ball.
They won't need the review.
They don't need a challenge.
We changed it. I've changed my call. Here we go. We changed it, so you still have 5 minutes. Here we go, guys. We changed it. On this thing. Please give us a pushing
He
foul.
called the right way according to the
defender.
official, but he just
He's
pointed
a
the wrong
bad
way.
defender.
And that created a frenzy with Josh King, and fortunately for him, he didn't even have to go to the replay, and for us.
And Nathan shows Sobey's third block shot of the game.
Foul will be on Michael Harris. Jordy Hunter, one of the best rollers in the NBL.
And as Andrew alluded to earlier, with the spacing proper now for the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix, that really aids Jordy Hunter, because I think he's the best pick and roller in the competition.
He's certainly right up there. Good hands, athletic, can play above the rim.
Leads the NBL as he misses that in field goal percentage, 63% to start the season.
He doesn't take too many shots that aren't within his regular repertoire. He's not out there just trying to get his and jacking them up and experimenting from all different parts of the floor. He sticks to what he knows and becomes very efficient.
Cross-court pass was ambitious from Sobey. Pepper saw it coming. Sobey almost got that one as well.
Did he touch the backboard there, James?
Doolittle up top. Down the lane, blocked by Hunter. Denied emphatically. But Doolittle kept playing, and that'll be an offensive foul.
Have a look at this. There is the block.
Outstanding.
And then there's a foul called, an offensive foul. Johnny Riley's trying to get a replay before he challenges. He wants to. He couldn't quite get it in time.
Ideally, that's a no call, in my opinion, Jack.
Well, you can't wait 25 seconds and then decide to challenge it. You're going to pull the trigger. John really missed his chance. Glover pulls the trigger.
Big play phase there, Andrew. Looking at a potential and one on the other end, turns into a 3-ball down your throat.
Fouls, 4-0. 4-0.
John really, as you can hear, continues to argue his case.
4-0. 4-0.
I anticipate a technical soon.
Staggered, it hasn't come already. Sobey lays it up. This is a little too easy. Timeout, Wildcats.
Well, his glove up coming off at the top of the key, and that's just too much space. You know, this season he's had some challenges with his efficiency, but Pinder on that switch needs to be a lot tighter and more aggressive, more ball pressure.
On the back end of this Amy replay, Sobey, one of the best in the league at realizing crucial points in the game. He capitalized it in transition. 14-point lead to the Phoenix.
Tangerine timeout, 46-32 here at John Cain Arena. Sunday hoops in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Sydney and Tasmania coming up next. Here are the Pumped by Reebok seats this afternoon. Here's Mitch Hibbard, former AFL footballer with North Melbourne and Essendon, and now big in the fitness game, and then Sandy Jawanda as well, sitting in the seats enjoying Sunday hoops. What's happening with Perth defensively, Derek? Offensively, speaks for itself. They're a very capable team scoring, but what's different today from Friday night at the defensive end of the floor?
I think it's the intensity. They've got to be a bit more reckless and take some risk on the defensive end. Up and into your guy. Be willing to foul. If they call it, they call it. But right now, they've got to rattle the comfortability of the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. Everything is too easy, Andrew. 46 points with 5 to go in the second quarter.
And shooting percentages is usually a barometer on how your defense is going. And right now, 69% for the Phoenix.
David Aquera, for his first minutes, has had 6 DNPs already this season, but John really looking for answers. There's the foul on Almanza. Steph, you were listening to Josh King.
Yeah, he wants to set up screens and had a point of pointing out they've got 0 team fouls and he wants them to be aggressive.
John really has reminded us in emphatic fashion that it was 4-0 before that last ball.
I know that, but there was contact before it. You got to watch the whole play. He overrules the call and then he goes with that. 2 bad plays in a row. Here we go.
Hunter reels that in. It's a 13-point deficit for the Wildcats.
Go, 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 go.
4-4 on the season. Lama too fast, but can't finish it off.
Well, I know John really has had a lot to say to the referees about the standard of their calls, but certainly his team needs to find some toughness on ball defensively. And right now, there's too many easy drives to the bucket.
Almanza with the left hand. Presence of Geordie Hunter was enough. Lewis for 3. Foul! And some Sunday afternoon banking.
I didn't love the decision early, Andrew. I thought maybe attack, get it up in the air to Hunter, but he pulls up. Fortune goes his way, gets clipped on his shooting hand. And as Jack said, you can visit the ATM on a Sunday.
Well, I think the foul helped the shot. In fact, it wasn't intentionally trying to go off the bank. But
I hope not.
you talk about the decision he made, but he had Josh King in his ear telling him to let it fly too.
8 points, 4 rebounds, plus 10 in his time on the floor. Malik Lewis started the last 6 games. It's been a good move for Southeast Melbourne. Harris checks the feet. Tough fall away in the corner. He's playing with confidence right now, Michael Harris.
Good. Stay high, stay high. Good. Good, good. Back up. Come on. Good. Flip.
Sobey for Wieskamp. Shot clock down to 6.
Shot. 4 seconds. 4 seconds.
Right there, Andrew. That's where Sobey, late in the shot clock, needs to catch that thing and look to make a play for himself. The pass in that instance was the wrong choice.
Yeah, that's right. And they only got 4 seconds left on the shot clock, 4.3, so plenty of time.
Foxwell. Phoenix miss another from close range, and Perth dodge another bullet. Elijah Pepper. No good. And the foul's on Wieskamp.
Black 21. Holding the arm. Red ball. Okay. Over here, guys. Hey!
Wildcats from the baseline.
Other side, Pep. Other side.
The equal opportunity offense, we're calling it, without Bryce Cotton.
Pin down. In the middle.
Ultimately, highly successful on Friday. Too bad here. Doolittle eventually draws the foul.
Doolittle working hard for the Perth Wildcats, and not very effectively. 1 of 5 from the three.
Job, but you got to watch everything. Yeah.
But they desperately need Pinder to get himself going. 6 points, 3 of 10 from the field, currently on the bench.
Burgers might be on the cards, and well, the latest breaking news is always on the cards if you download the NBL app. You get it direct to your device. All the stats, all the write-ups, injury news. It's all there for you. And the groan from the home fans, Ruck, when the kids work out that they're not getting burgers. You can hear it.
And Sunday afternoon, an arena filled with lots of young ones, hoping to get that Hungry Jacks on the way back home after the game.
This is a bumper crowd.
It's a loud crowd too, isn't it?
Almost at capacity.
Yeah. One dribble too many for Matt Hurt. Great ball movement from Perth, and it ends in an Elijah Pepper 3.
That's a really good extra pass. Henshaw's had his difficulties, but they knew they'd close out hard in the kick to the corner for another shoot-up. And John really, he's like the last couple of minutes, but he still looks up at the scoreboard and sees his team trailing by 12.
So we stay with the momentum. Down that end. Just have a purpose and a discipline to what we're doing. I love the weak side talk. Great pressure. Great come across. Okay, stay on the glass for it. Pep, stay disciplined right now. Stay disciplined, locked in. We take care of business there. Great ball movement at this end. Hey, flow on misses, If it's a make, we'll go punch. Punch 4, you be the cutter so we can play through the elbow with you. Here we go.
You can see, Andrew, the focus is quite macro there. A couple of touches on some specific concepts at the end, but he's talking about effort. He's talking about discipline. Those are the things that they need on the defensive end to get them back into this game. They ideally would like this lead to be anywhere around 6, 7, 8 going into the halftime break.
And when he's referring to discipline, he's referring to the rules that they've got in place on certain players and where they want to be on the weak side help. And sometimes I think that their rules have been in place, but they just haven't been able to contain the penetration.
Yeah.
Just keep someone in front.
Go!
Matt Hurt's the game's leading scorer. He has 14. Nathan Sobey has 10 for the Wildcats. Elijah Pepper is their leading scorer with 8.
And you saw there, Perth were unwilling to let Hurt go one-on-one at his defender. They brought the double, and that led to the turnover. Perhaps really has made the proper adjustment there.
Less than 3 minutes before halftime. Still a double-digit lead. And Phoenix came out firing in the first quarter, 35 points. They've maintained that margin. Pepper gets that to roll, and he's got 10.
Let's go!
Continues to provide consistent punch off the bench. I didn't anticipate this type of productivity from Pepper this season, but he's been very good.
Victorian, too, grew up and played his basketball in Shepparton.
Oh.
Perth have clamped down defensively. Foxwell with 2 on the clock. Snatched away by Pepper. This has been a good 3 or 4 minutes for Perth.
Much better point of attack defense.
Scored the last 6 in the game. Henshall cross court for Pepper. Big rebound by Withers. Henshall seems a little hesitant this afternoon, but he shouldn't be. because he was white hot on Friday night.
I think he was hesitant because he knew that it was hurt coming out. And he's thinking, well, do I try and take him off the dribble? But eventually makes a good call, goes to his left and knocks it down from the three.
Hurt the step back three. High degree of difficulty. Clever from Vodanovic. Here's Glover. He's deep as well. And once more, it's Pepper picking up the loose ball. And in transition, tees off. Foxwell was clever. Took care of the rebound. Vodanovic from long range.
Another big swing.
The ebbs and flows, Drew.
Yeah. Miss at one end and a make at the other.
Back to 10 points. Doolittle playing a lot of minutes. 35 a game he's averaging. He looked fresh on that take. Blue pass for Vodanovic.
I like that matchup for the Wildcats. They've got to back it up here with a stop and get the final shot of the half.
Glover baseline. And a wide open Joe Wieskamp. High arcing three. Shot clock switched off.
Not a bad shot, but there we go. I love it when you see a nice arc on the shot, but I think he might have just a little too much.
Henschel to finish off the quarter. He can't score.
Bad foul. Really bad foul with less than a second remaining, because we're going to walk down the other end and Phoenix are going to pick up a couple of freebies.
Ball bounces hard off the back of the rim. And almost one of those wrong place, wrong time fouls, Andrew, on Pepper.
It was, but looking at it in real time, it seemed like an obvious one, but it was a little less obvious on the replay.
Still 1.5 seconds remaining. More than enough time for Henschel to get a bomb off.
More than enough, but enough, maybe.
Quera can throw up a prayer. Southeast Melbourne hold a 10-point lead on their home floor at halftime, 54-44. High scoring.
Things could have been a lot worse for the Perth Wildcats. To get it down to 10 is reasonable. And of course, Josh King would have to be quite happy with his team's first half.
Here's Steph.
Thanks, Jack. I'm joined by Nathan Sobey. Nathan, that was an absolutely epic start. What were on this offensive explosion?
Yeah, I mean, we just came out with the right energy, put our focus on that and to continue to roll with it. We've got to keep doing that for the rest of the game.
What will the message be from Coach King to break away further for the next 40?
We've got to come up with those defensive rebounds, and then when they go on their runs, we've got to try and limit them as much as possible. I think there was 2 patches there that they took advantage of, and the good teams are going to take advantage of that. We just got to knuckle her down and get those stops during those periods.
Thanks, good luck.
Cheers.
10 points in the opening half for Nathan Sobey. It's 54-44. Sunday hoops at John Cain Arena here in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
Josh King certainly with a little bit of smile about the head coach of the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. They lead the Wildcats by 10. We know he can be fiery, but you'd think he'd be a little relaxed, a little composed at the moment right there as he addresses his troops ahead of a big second half for a team that is looking to turn their season around. Derek Rucker, Andrew Gaze, Josh King right now looks to be ticking the boxes.
Oh, absolutely. I think that he's, like the way the team's playing, he'd be really comfortable at halftime with the offense of what they're doing. He seems to be riding every single possession and out there trying to implement his strategies. But he's the way in which he pulling players aside, and in a lot of those instances, holding players to account for a guy coming in and just trying to establish the tone and the way he wants to play. I think that he's done a really good job based on what we've seen with a very, very small sample size, Derek.
Well, that's correct. And this role that he's taken on, it's a difficult one. It's really hard to turn the fortunes around quickly and get guys to learn your systems, learn your concepts. But it appears that he's been quite effective in getting that done. Offensively, they look outstanding. This was a really good first half. Now in the second quarter, things tailed off a little bit, but it was primarily due to sloppy turnovers from Nathan Sobey and Matt Hurt, two of the guys, ironically, that have been your best players in the first half.
Well, as we go to the Hungry Jacks highlights here of Matt Hurt, he was fantastic in the first quarter, but he's been stranded around 14 for a while.
Well, I wouldn't call it stranded, but I think Perth have made some adjustment. He's got 14 points in the halftime break. He's 6 of 7, but he had all of those 14 points in the first quarter. In the second, as Derek mentioned, it was starting to push it, trying to go off the bounce a little bit more. A couple of sloppy plays and turnovers. He's got 3 for the game. But as you can see, he's inside, he's outside. And when you've got those 14 points and to only get in the first quarter and to only get one shot in the second quarter, they'd be looking at their structures and saying, we need to find a way to get a hot guy the ball and keep him going and milk him as long as you possibly can as you look at the Blackmore shot chart.
And Perth also did a really good job, though, of double teaming him in that second quarter, forcing him to do something other than just catch and shoot or play back to the basket against their defender. So good adjustment from Perth, but Matt Hurt, nevertheless, he's going to have a big say in how this game pans out in the second half.
For the Perth Wildcats, Elijah Pepper's a guy that can come out. He can give you very, very good, and he can give you very, very poor. Right now, He's providing enough to keep him in the game. That's not that bad of a whack.
No, well, we've seen some very, very good and some okay, not so great already in this one, and he's a shooter. That's how he's built. You look at his career throughout his college career, he's going to be looking for his shot. He's good in that mid-range. He can shoot the 3-ball. And this afternoon, they've really needed his points. They dug themselves a huge hole, and he stepped up and knocked down some shots when they needed them.
But he's a guy who could help them later in the season. So these reps that he's gaining right now are invaluable. When they bring Bryce Cotton back and all of a sudden Pepper's playing alongside of him, he'll be very effective.
Well, it's a Sunday doubleheader this afternoon. Sydney and Tassie coming up next after this.
Ooh.
Alex Toohey, the next stars in action. The Kings boys have to get themselves back on a roll. The big talk was there in the preseason and not quite living up to it right now.
Well, I think they'll bounce back. Look, they've got some injury concerns. Jalen Galloway's hurt. We know Jalen Adams has been struggling with the bad back. But Tasmania, talk about struggling. They can't find enough points. And today at Kudos Bank Arena, they've got to get at least 85, Andrew.
Well, Josh King better be saying, hey, we got Matt Hurt, 6 or 7 from the floor. Get the ball in his hands. The dances are going off. It is a college basketball atmosphere in here this afternoon. A whole lot more coming up next. with a late win. Hey, get after it, fellas, get after it. Get up there, 1, 2, 3, go. Hey, young. That's perfect. Go, Ty. Get downhill, big dog. H. Go, H. Hey, get some slices, Go, H. Crash the glass. That punch was perfect, KP. Absolutely perfect. Yeah, H. H up, H. Harris. You. Right, you're the tree, right? Tony! Just back. Muscular nervy. In your back, not anywhere else?
Special day for Jesse Wagstaff as he breaks the record for the most games played at the iconic Perth Wildcats. 483 games. Look at some of the names that are on that list.
Yeah, it's a special milestone for Jesse. It's been littered with success right throughout, and just an all-class type of guy, no nonsense, a leader both on and off the floor. And when you got that record for an amazing club like the Perth Wildcats, it's very special, so congratulations to him.
Six-time NBL champion.
That's right.
That in itself is extraordinary.
It is. It's special, and he's loved by the fans. He's loved by and respected by, I think, fans right throughout the nation for what he's been able to do. I saw that he's coming off. He's got a bit of a crook back, though. That might
well, that's not going to get any better.
Slow him down a little.
When you're 38, these things can happen.
Correct. But I think it goes to show, too, that if you've got a good basketball IQ, you're committed to your craft, and you've got a skill set like he has, you can have a long career in this career and in this league.
It's almost like having another coach on the bench with some of that stuff that we saw Harvey Norman in the zone today. Defense is the name of the game for Perth in the second half. That's not an ideal start.
Well, it epitomises their problems. It's the straight penetration. And they had both. They had Geordie Hunter on the switch, which I think is where they were trying to go. But Sobe sees the mismatch and gets straight line, basically to the cup.
Hunter picks up his second.
And he's getting some instruction from Josh King, who wants Geordie to commit to the basketball, not be so low, be high and early, Andrew, and I guess force a decision from the ball handler.
Yeah, it is, and sometimes those bigs are reluctant because they saw what happened just down the other end, and you get blown by it.
Or dunked on.
7 points for Keanu Pinder, sorry, right?
The first Phoenix possession, they attacked the basket through Sobe. That's how they were effective in the first quarter. Let's see if they can stay disciplined with that attack at the basket. And there we go from Glover, right on cue. That's where they can be successful. They lost track of that in the second quarter.
Well, what they're doing, the Perth Wildcats are switching everything. So even then, they switch too early, though. It's poor switching. If you're going to switch, you've got to at least let the ball handler go past the screener, then switch. But they're switching so early, the mismatch is there, and the weak side help doesn't even have time to get off and help on that penetration. So nothing wrong with the strategy, but the execution on that defensive end was poor.
He's got some game, Drew.
My word, he does.
Oh, now you like him?
Oh, I was abused because I said that I gave him my tip for the fantasy league stuff, and everyone's saying, he's not going to get to play, not getting to play.
Drew,
a man with his
your
shooting
level of abuse, what you think is abuse, come check some of my messages from time to time, buddy.
Sobe aggressive to start the third, and another bucket from close range for Southeast Melbourne.
It's a simple formula right now.
Attack the rim.
Get the switch that you like. Go ahead and get it and just attack the rim.
Sydney and Tasmania up next. Henschel got his man up in the air, and then Pinder finishes off. 9 points for Keanu Pinder as Jesse Wagstaff looks on. An 11-point game at John Cain Arena. Teams met in round one. The Wildcats far too good at Hoops Fest, 106-98. the back of a 33-point final term. Sobey fires it out to Malik Lewis. Doolittle with his 8th rebound of the afternoon.
John really doesn't think the score is correct.
They can't add another 2 to it. Score looks good to me.
Oh dear. That's just sloppy that time.
Punch more! I got him on it.
John really believes that one of their shots was a 3-ball. I can't recall which one it was.
I think he's contesting the Elijah Pepper.
He had a toe on the line, but happy to be corrected. Replay center will take a look at it. Doolittle forces his way in. He's starting to get himself going now.
And Andrew, with respect to Doolittle, he's still a young professional learning the offensive end as Pepper almost takes Glover's cookies.
Yeah. What's the reset of the shot clock
no
for
reset,
then?
no reset. Yep. So the score is... The score is correct, apparently. Went from 45...
Are you sure it's at 14? Okay.
Guys, we've just gone through the stats and they just told me that through the earpiece, okay?
So just taking a look at the shot clock.
Here we go.
Stats Centre has said the score is correct. So I think we can move on from that one. 61-52.
This game's taken on a real interesting slant all of a sudden. It appears that Southeast Melbourne are in control, Andrew.
Yeah.
But with the variance in the game.
I'm not so sure. I don't know whether I'd call it control, but they're in a nice position. Tommy Greer, who just last week announced that he's going to be moving on, the CEO.
Former teammate of yours?
Former teammate and championship winner with the Melbourne Tigers. Been with the club since its inception, and so he's moving on. I don't believe until the middle of next year that he'll finish up. So he's still got some time and some work to do with his Phoenix program.
Not an easy thing to do to be the CEO of a startup team. Foxwell for 3.
And again, Sobey puts his head into the gap, creates a little bit of space, and then she'll... Wow. And Perth have to make sure, Andrew, they maintain good discipline on the offensive end. Now that's 3 fouls on Jordy Hunter. And John really will penalize Ben Henschel for that poor early 3-ball. But I like the fact that there's not any admonishment, but more coaching and teaching.
He's only 20 years of age, Ben Henschel, still very much a work in progress, but he was outstanding on Friday. He's done some good things today. Pepper's done some great things today.
That is from a long way out. That's a good metre and a half behind the 3-point line. He's feeling it.
Well,
right
not only
now.
is he feeling it, Andrew, but he's carrying himself like this is what I'm supposed to be doing out here.
Well, he's throughout his college career, that's exactly what he did. And he's transferring those skills over here to the NBL. Have a look at Elijah Pepper. And falling over was the issue for Glover. That's deep.
You look at that Amy replay. Glover goes flying away, and I think Josh King was disappointed with how he positioned himself up against that screen, and he's getting the hook.
16 points now on 5 of 9 for Elijah Pepper. Tough look for Kenyon. He came to the league with a reputation as being a scorer. We're seeing it today. His Doolittle pass is battered down. Foxwell feeds Hunter. Right idea. Nice work from Doolittle to knock it away.
Josh King in the sideline, stabbing his foot, upset with that offensive transition. And I think his issue was perhaps the ball sticking a little bit.
No, it definitely was.
When it gets...
He wants that ball moved.
Stay down!
Nice finish from Sobey.
That's tough.
Sobey's been very effective, 16 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. He was good down in Tasmania as well.
Wildcats blocked by Aquera. Smashes that into the backboard. And then Webster gets caught up.
22 black.
Aquera, good timing. That's where Wieskamp, he's got to go into the body of Aquera. It's just for a real athlete, an easy block, and in transition, you heard the officials. Accidental clipping.
Knocks that one away. Webster, Hiram, Harris, Withers, Aquera, Pepper out there for Perth. Kenyon, Sobey, Wieskamp, Hurt, Foxwell for the Phoenix.
And the Wildcats are going with that lineup that got them back in the game in the second quarter. More energy. It would appear perhaps not as productive offensively, but John Riley's banking on better defense to cut into this gap.
I'm not sure he'd be overly thrilled with that attempt, but you're right, this combination in the first half, it was Harris that came in and was the X factor with a couple of 3 balls.
I get the feeling that Nathan Sobey's about to get some advice from the coach. Judging from his reaction in front of us.
That feeling's about to become a reality, Jack.
Whoa. Pepper with a circus shot and a hard landing too. Foxwell wide open. Hiram Harris takes care of things. 66-55.
Match!
Pepper. Offensive foul on Aquera.
Get his back turn. Have a look at this. See, he turns and then just trips. That's unlucky. So when you turn, there's definitely no intent, and the defense just falls on the ground.
Yeah. We saw a lot of these calls in yesterday's games.
Well, because you're pivoting outside just your area, that's the cylinder, that's the reason for the call. It's just an unlucky, of course, probably a correct call.
Wieskamp running out of options. Just to flick it back out to Foxwell at the top of the key. Kenyon puts the ball on the floor with the left hand. Tough finish from that Kenyon. And it makes it an even 10. And lead for the home team, who have lost 4 of their last 5 against the Wildcats. Harris misses Aquera. Foxwell drives and lays it up.
So crafty with the basketball. Small guard, knows how to use timing and tempo of his dribble effectively. Outstanding finish there. Phoenix up 15.
It is. Look at the craftiness you talk about. He just read the defense, played the 2-on-1 perfectly. He knew Sobey, I think it was, trailing, but just was able to draw the defense nicely and kiss it off the glass.
Coming up next, it's Sydney and Tasmania at Kudos Bank Arena. Leonard Copeland, Brad Rosen, and Joe Healy are standing by.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Big game here in Sydney today with the Kings playing host to the defending champions, Leonard Copeland, Brad Rosen. Guys, you get the feeling that this is just about must-win for both of these teams today.
Absolutely. Neither team can afford to lose another game. You can't throw away games this early in the season and expect to make the finals.
80 points is the key, Joe. Kings have got to keep Tasmania under 80. If they can do that, they'll get the win. If they don't, this is going to be a close one, and Tasmania could get the steal.
I cannot wait for it. Tip not too far away. Make sure you tune in.
Cope's looking resplendent in the mustard men's club number.
That is true, but please, can the makeup department do a little something with his hair? There was shine.
Oh, I thought they should have put some light on my brother.
I know the light was all right.
Some sunlight, some moonlight, any type of light.
There's some makeup on that Bonds.
Oh, truly. Oh, Jack staying silent and out of trouble.
It's probably the smartest thing to do. Turnovers are starting to become a factor now for Perth. That's 10.
You know, we set a standard for good basketball teams in the NBL. You try and win 50% of your away games. And right now, we're getting a great indication of why that's the case. It is so hard to win basketball games on the road in the NBL.
Well, it is, and taking care of your home court is important, as we mentioned. Phoenix have lost 6 in a row on their home deck, and they're looking to right those wrongs here with a commanding lead right now.
Drew, Phoenix are back in this season. They're back in NBL 25 now. Saying it right now.
If they win today, they'll go to 4-6. They're in Sydney on Friday night, which is a good time to get the Kings, and then they've got Cairns here next Sunday, which is a great time to get the Taipans.
That's right, and what I think is they're now playing to how Tommy Greer and Simon Mitchell recruited the team. That is up and down, shooting the ball. They haven't shot the ball well, but this afternoon they're 10 of 21 from the three-point line, and they've got those types of shooters on the roster that are capable of doing it, but they just haven't been able to connect. The spacing's looked a whole lot better, and if they can just continue to maintain the rage on the defensive end, they are going to be very hard to beat.
Wieskamp not the first time, but was there to clean it up.
And that's what he's got to be. A glorified garbage player. Do all the little things like that. Get yourself easy buckets. Contest the ball on the rim like that.
Now pulls up for 3 in transition. Offensive rebound by Kenyon. Phoenix can reset and expand on this lead, which is 18. Inside the last 2 minutes of the third term. Vujanovic buries it.
Now that possession started off poorly with a bad shot from Wieskamp, but the second effort got them an outstanding look for Vujanovic.
Doolittle turns the corner. He's shooting free throws.
Doolittle and Ty Webster, minus 22 and minus 28. A poor defense there. Ty Webster gets lost. Vujanovic, we know he can do that, Drew. 2 of 2 in the game.
He's a stretch ball, and there's no way he should be that open. And they've been switching a lot, but that time was just a breakdown on the on-ball to pick and pop. Let's not forget that this Phoenix team is only going to get better. In fact, both these teams missing a couple of key components. Derek Walton Jr. is going to have an impact for sure.
Whose ceiling is higher based on what you see right here, Drew? When they get all their pieces back.
It's an interesting one. I think when you've seen Dylan Windler, when he's healthy too, and he gets going. Wow. This is just a shooting performance that the Perth Wildcats haven't adjusted to. 12 of 24, and they're just walking into the 3-ball now.
It's work from Doolittle, doing everything he can to keep Perth in the hunt. They trail by 21. The Phoenix, who shoot the 3-ball at 32% across the season, are at 50% this afternoon.
Yep.
He's changed his mind, John Rillen.
Hang on, boss, hang on. Here we go.
He lost confidence.
I'm going to watch that, though. I don't think you're right.
Well, then you should have challenged John.
He doesn't got 100%.
Play on. Glover from a long way out. pulls the trigger. He's short as well.
One good.
The athleticism of Malik Lewis. Plus 11 this afternoon, the next start. Shot clock switched off.
They'd have found a gift, and to me that's too early. You know they're waiting for the last shot. There's still 9 seconds left.
That foul must be committed as he starts to generate his drive towards the basket.
Yeah, and preferably when it's 4 seconds or under.
5 seconds. It's out of play. They make a mess of that last possession. So a little freebie here for Perth. They get a little bit extra added as well. 4.6 now. Henshaw from a long way out.
Could have taken another 2 dribbles.
81-60. It's the Phoenix playing Super Basketball on Sunday Hoops here in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
Hey fellas, in my humble opinion, this game's going to be won on how we deal with a bit of adversity. How we deal with adversity, how we react, and how we get on with the process. Let's go. Benches on 3. 1, 2, 3, benches. Run it again! Run it again! Steer him, Toddy! Steer him! Great possession! Great possession! Yes! No! No! Vaughn! Woo! Yeah,
Jesse Wagstaff, our Harvey Norman in the zone player this afternoon as he breaks the record for the most games played in Perth Wildcats colours. He's out there to start the last, and it is going to take something miraculous from him for the Wildcats. We didn't see a lot of Matt Hurt in the third quarter. That's well short to start the fourth.
They only played 6 minutes in that third period, and you see on that first possession the Wildcats have changed their defensive strategy. They were switching most of that third quarter. Now they're hard showing, and that pick and pop, they're going to be a little more vulnerable in that area as Nathan Sobey just bullies his way to the bucket.
Now he's got 18 points. He's a plus 17. Starting to find his flow with this Phoenix lineup.
What's been better with Nathan Sobey today, Ruck? Because he's got a lot of criticism this season.
Shot selection is 100% better. His focus on attacking the rim, speaking of which, Almantha attacks the rim for a nice finish. But Sobey's had more purpose with his drives, Andrew.
Yeah.
He had a little bad patch in the second quarter, but in this second half, he's been very good again.
Go get it! Harris!
A couple of things offensively to start the last that Josh King's not liking here.
Yeah, that time it wasn't just a hard show. It was a blitz on the on-ball screens. The middle on-balls are just doubling and gambling, which you have to do when you're down 21 at three-quarter time. You got to think, hey, somehow or other, we got to get a 30-plus point quarter and hold our opponents to 10.
Well, they put up 39 on Friday night. They can do it. It's about stopping South East Melbourne at the other end that's been the problem. Here's Pinder. Michael Harris for three. Big rebound, Almanza. Next start can't score. And Pinder reaching in. And was whistled for the foul.
Well, when we think of the next stars, Malik Lewis, Ruck, he's got the 8 points. He's 3 of 5 from the field. I don't know of all the next stars here that he may have the highest ceiling, but he's the most mature of the ones that I've taken an interest in.
Since his insertion into the starting lineup,
yeah,
Phoenix's fortunes have turned significantly now. He's not the only factor, but he's a piece of the puzzle.
The good thing about Lewis is he can guard multiple positions. A lot of the times he's taken and guarding the guards at, what would he be, 205, 206, something like that.
Strong.
He can understand why the NBA scouts are keeping a close eye on him.
Hinch had 26 on Friday night. Has been a little quieter today, but here's a reminder of his offensive capability.
Hey, timeout. Be aggressive!
Timeout coming here for the Phoenix. Perth have got this back to 17.
Load over, Eton, load over. Yes.
Sobey.
Go!
That's not what the Phoenix were looking for. Pinder came up with it.
Go! Come on, Eddie.
Some momentum with the Wildcats at the moment. It's a big mountain to climb in this last quarter. And if any team can score quickly, it's the team in red. Almanza gets to a nice spot and scores. All of a sudden, there's just 15 the difference.
Great usage of the pivot foot down on the block. That tightens this lead up.
83-68. Well.
Things can change so rapidly. And Almantha, a nice little play there to get himself to 7 points. But I think Sobey needs to continue, Drew, just with that last three ball. Took a little bit of the wind out of the sails.
They got the switch. He's got Wagstaff on him and he settled for a contested three. That, to me, is get your head down and try and get 2 feet in the paint and put some pressure on the rim. Defense collapses, you kick it out, you got a 3-ball. But he's caught out the top playing with his boot, and he didn't all come together for him. Poor shot.
An 8-2 start to the last quarter for Perth. It's 83-68 here at John Cain Arena. Sunday hoops in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
And statistically balanced matchup between these two teams. The only difference is The Wildcats have not been accurate from the field as Foxwell throws one out of bounds, and Josh King is going to lose his mind.
Oh, goodness. Steph, you were listening in. He's getting very animated, Josh King.
He sure is. He's pretty upset. He thinks the players have knocked off early. He was telling them to finish the game.
The right mindset about the game's over. That's what happened.
Well, it is a public holiday weekend here in Melbourne, so could be forgetting.
Oh,
That's
boy.
a double dribble.
Oh, my.
That's a brain fake.
Think about a bad mindset or knocking off. It was just a fundamental every take to drill, pick it up and dribble again. I haven't seen that in a long time.
Six and a half minutes remaining. Great move from Hunter.
Oh.
Hammers that thing down.
Great ball work. Fakes the handoff. Pivots, gets on the rim.
Now Hiram Harris whistled for the foul at the other end. Here's the Amy replay.
Oh, Harris bites on the handoff. And just it's a runway to the cup, and he finishes it with two hands with a high degree of authority. Very nice by Hunter.
When Geordie Hunter dunks, he puts every single bone in his body into it.
He's so quick and athletic. I love how he gets off the floor, and that ball is through the hoop quickly.
Foxwell gave it up for Malik Lewis. Phoenix starting to have a few issues shooting the three ball.
So something I've noticed about Josh King with respect to his team's offense, he is very particular about how things get done and his offensive process. He wants the ball to get driven to certain spots. He wants passes with certain timing on it. It's going to be very interesting to see how that coaching concept develops over the balance of the season.
Well, the other thing too, very direct with his feedback to his
extremely.
players.
I like that. Oh.
How did he do that? Falling down, he threw up a prayer and it counts.
And Geordie Hunter.
Give us a call. We got to keep going.
There's a lot going on right now, but you got a player in the paint. Hunter trips over him on the catch. Nice agility to finish that play. But Hunter's really thrived since the coaching change. Jiz. Uh-oh.
Southeast Melbourne are steady. Perth came at them hard to start the last.
Drew, would it be safe to say that referee-coaches relationships are at an all-time low?
Well, I think a lot of it's self-inflicted. It's what your officials are prepared to tolerate, and it seems like they're prepared to tolerate a lot of conversation, a lot of opinion from the coaches. So they just got no one else to blame but themselves. There's a very quick way you can sort it out, and that is by holding the coaches accountable for their feedback. And there's a balance in there somewhere, isn't there? Like, you want to be able to have a relationship, you want to be able to talk, but maybe because we're hearing a whole lot more of it, we're more critical. But hey, they got a whistle that can solve a lot of it quickly.
Final 5 minutes at John Cain Arena. Pepper open. Hunter reels that in, his sixth rebound of the afternoon. With his 6 points. 19-point lead to the Phoenix. A win today will take them to 4-6 on the season. And after what was a really rough start, 4-6, Ruck, doesn't seem that bad.
That's a great resurrection from where they were several weeks ago. And that last play right there is what Nathan Sobey needs to build his game upon going forward. His ability to get his hips by the defender's hips and make plays for himself or his teammates.
And there's a lot of similarities I think you can draw with what happened to the Illawarra Hawks last season and where they end up to what the potential could be for the Phoenix.
He has his critics, Nathan Sobey. It'd be hard to criticise the way he's played today, though.
One thing I love about him, even when things weren't going well, he always seems to play with the same level of energy. He goes 100% all the time, and sometimes you can question his decision-making, but his effort, I don't think you can.
Hunter with a rebound. Hurt was stripped illegally. Technical foul on the Wildcats.
And Jack, this is just a byproduct of all the conversation that John Riley's had. They were just looking for the right person to call it on. The referees found their victim.
It is, and in the scheme of things, I don't think Harris did a whole lot, but it's the accumulation.
Correct.
And unfortunately, he's the one that, for him anyway, that's copped it.
Is there some concerns around Perth in their defence, Ruck? So, yes, they won on Friday night, but they did give up 105. They're going to give up somewhere close to 100 today. They are 8th in the competition for points allowed. Any issues at that end of the floor here for Perth?
Without a doubt. And we saw them struggle with this last season. And this season, they're currently 6th in defensive rating. But that's having played a lot of home games, Jack. How are you going to play defensively on the road? Today was the first test without Bryce Cotton in a tough environment. And Drew, they haven't passed this test.
No, not today. It's been one of those games for them. And let's not forget they've got two very significant pieces sitting on the sideline. Particularly with Bryce Cotton, of course.
Foxwell, a little dump off. Kenyon was blocked by Pepper.
It's just trying to build that defensive framework that is going to play well no matter where you are, no matter who is out on the floor, like a Melbourne United.
Well, Melbourne United, to me, are the benchmark when it comes to the work on the defensive end. But from what I've seen, I haven't seen enough of his best, but Dylan Windler could be a very impactful player in this league. And not just because he's a lefty, he's got a little bit of Chris Gent. Remember Chris Gent?
Yes, of course.
For the North Melbourne Giants.
17 points on 5 of 7 on Friday night. They win over Illawarra.
You know, and Windler goes into that category of player who's only been held back by poor health. Hurt and misses one from the wing.
Sobey dumps that off. Hunter gave it to Kenyon, but he'd already left. Aquera spins and scores at the other end. That was nice from David Aquera.
I've always liked his potential.
Yeah, he's got the raw attributes, the size, the athleticism, and it's for him. It's just about getting opportunity. Played in the state league in Western Australia last season and put up some okay numbers, around 15 points, 10 boards a game. And he just needs more playing opportunities. Good size.
But again, you know, you look at the Wildcats box score and their leading scorer is Elijah Pepper. It's 16 points. We've seen this a lot this year where role players are being your top scorer in a game, and usually through our experiences, Andrew, that's not a recipe to win consistently.
Here comes Lewis, 3-on-2 up ahead. Finishes through contact, 10 points, 6 rebounds for Malik Lewis.
I think there's a lot of those that, I mean, it's mind-boggling. I'm sort of hate to reinforce it. They were suggesting that somehow or other the Perth Wildcats are better without Bryce Cotton.
No.
I mean, please, give me a spell. Turn it up. Whatever one you say. That is, and I think you're seeing a little bit of evidence of this, the insanity of those types of comments.
We've got to turn it up. And it's not footy season from Andrew Case.
Well, I've just heard the rumblings of someone asking questions about are the Perth Wildcats better off without Bryce Cotton, please.
And the reality is, they have a terrific home court advantage, and role players generally play better at home. But if I'm a Perth Wildcats fan and we've got a road game in Sydney, I'd much rather see Bryce Cotton in that lineup, Andrew. I'm going to feel a lot more comfortable.
Just as a reminder of Bryce Cotton's greatness, you can jump on NBL Plus, unlock all of his stats, check out his contribution and what he's capable of.
Go watch some archived games. There are about 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe up to a dozen of them that'll go down in NBL history.
Well, this will Perth become 4 or 5 after this one, and they really just got to trying to hang around that 500 until they get their guys back, and anything can happen. It's easier said than done, but I think 500 this year is going to put you in. It'll get you in the playoffs.
Tricky weekend coming up for Perth. They host Tasmania next Thursday night, and then they're back here next Saturday night against Melbourne United.
Goodness.
Kenyon comes up with it.
This has turned into a much-needed percentage boost for the Phoenix.
And a confidence boost within the team as we get a double rejection on Pepper's backdoor cut. But this will be 4 out of 5 wins for the Phoenix as Lewis lets one fly.
Luke Rosendale out there to see the game out for South East Melbourne. One of the development players this season. Dante Rosso-Nance also out there for the Wildcats, the 19-year-old. Almanza. Looks like he's drawn a bit of blood.
And Andrew, this type of victory, as we first have a look at Almanza, he went with the Euro. Must have got scratched across the face. A little graze of the elbow.
Hiram Harris will come in and shoot the free throws.
But I can't recall the last time the Phoenix had a victory where they were so defensively dominant. They're going to hold Perth below 80.
Harris has to be the shooter, as you heard from the microphone. John really was suggesting that perhaps because it's a blood rule that anyone can shoot it, but that's not the case. And I can understand why John was trying to get Hiram off the free throw line, because he's only at 50% this season.
He was true to his form then. Also Nance reaching in. He's fouled, and Rosendale will walk to the line. So the Phoenix now are going to go 2-0 on the weekend. They went to Launceston on Friday and beat the Jack Jumpers. They win today, 4-6 on the season.
And they look competent. They have gone from...
They look more organised. And there's going to be ongoing challenges to reintroduce Derek Walton Jr. But they've looked good.
Meanwhile, for Perth, this last 5 minutes has been pretty forgettable for them.
And it's a reasonable turnaround too for the Phoenix, because they did not look, although they got the win on Friday, they didn't look great. Here, with the freedom of movement and the opportunities they've had to get to the rim, the easy opportunities, they've been able to make the most of it.
Pass, Rosendale to Wieskamp. It's not going to count.
He doesn't mind dunking on heads, Wieskamp. I like how he attacks the front of the rim. No messing around.
He's only 4 of 13 in the contest for his 8 points. So he's still trying to find his way. It's just too late.
So the home fans on their feet. They have witnessed a sensational performance from their team today. Henschel with a last look for Perth. Finishes off in style. And what started off as a nightmare for Southeast Melbourne is very quickly becoming a movie worth watching. 100-76, the final score at John Cain Arena. Josh King goes 2-0.
Yeah, it's impressive. The way the turnaround, they clearly needed some fresh voices and they've responded well, both to Sam McKinnon prior as well. And looks like that they're defining their roles a little clearer. The rotation patterns are a little bit more predictable. And most importantly, the offensive efficiency has improved significantly, 50% from the field. And they're getting it from a variety of different sources. And Nathan Sobey, after an indifferent start to the season, seems to have found his groove.
And full credit to that man right there, Angus Glover, who's done an outstanding job of running the point. Some of his numbers, his advanced metrics don't look great, but you can see his impact on games is positive. And today, it all came together for him. 17 points. He was a plus 14 out on the floor. Just a really solid floor game from Angus Glover, as well as knocking down 3 3-balls.
Sydney on Friday night is the next challenge at Kudos Bank Arena for the Phoenix, and then back here next Sunday against the Taipans for the Wildcats. A doubleheader that starts next Thursday. Let's get over to Steph.
Thanks, Jack. It's our Foot Locker player of the game, Nathan Sobey. Congratulations on a major win. How's it feel?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to get a win on our home floor. So, yeah, just stoked with the crowd showing up today, and I'm glad we could get one for them finally.
First home win with a new coach too. Were you a little extra fired up for him today?
Yeah, I mean, Josh has been great since he walked in the door, so 2 wins over the weekend's great for him.
You're almost a completely different look team at the moment. What's been the turning point?
We kept saying it even when we were losing. We just got to stick together. We know we got the talent. We know we got the group that can get it done. We're just taking a little bit longer to gel, but I think we're finally starting to get how we play and really getting after it on both ends of the floor.
You seem like you're in your groove at the moment too. How does it feel and what's working?
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's just as long as we're winning, that's all that matters. So we'll stay with that.
Enjoy it. How are we feeling?
20 points for Nathan Sobey, plus 18. You can add 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 blocks to go with it as well.
He looks like the player we all know he is capable of being. He looks much better on the defensive end. As you said during the broadcast, Andrew, he always gives outstanding effort, but now he's added improved decision-making. His three-point shot is starting to improve. He looks a much happier and effective player these past few weeks.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And I think a lot of it's just the anxiety levels were off the charts early on, wanting to make a statement, really wanted to put his mark on this team. And sometimes it was ill-advised, but since over the last 3 weeks, there's been a slightly different approach, and he's reaping the rewards, and as is the Phoenix.
Steph's got Angus Glover.
I sure do, Angus. It looked fun out there. Was it as fun out on the court as it was to watch?
Yeah, it was fun. We've really bought into what Josh is preaching for us, and yeah, you can see it on the floor. We're all having fun. We're all getting up and down, buying into the defense, everything like that. And yeah, 2 wins in a weekend is really good for us.
Had the new coach for a week now. What's he like?
Yeah, he's energetic. I think everyone you're going to ask will say he's energetic. Cares for every player, wants to know him on a personal level. Yeah, he's an awesome guy. So looking forward to having him here for the next couple of years.
Do you feel like there's been a light at the end of the tunnel now with a couple of big wins?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we put ourselves in a bad spot to start the year, but you know, we've caught ourselves back to 4 and 6 now, and we're back in that pack, but there's still a lot of work to do. Another double next week. Obviously enjoyed today, But yeah, get back to the drawing board and try and get another 2 next week. We'll really put ourselves in a position to go after it.
Well done, thank you.
Thank you.
This guy is playing seriously good basketball in the last 4 rounds. Since running the point through the absence of Derek Walton Jr., he's relishing the challenge.
Well, it started in that second half Sunday game against Melbourne United when they upset them here on this floor where Glover took over when Derek Walton Jr. got hurt. And since then, Andrew, he's been really effective. He gives you great size also defensively, and his ability to run the point, knock down shots at critical times has been vital in this Phoenix resurgence.
No doubt, and we talk about Derek Walton Jr. coming back. He's going to have to make some adjustments with his playing time when he comes back, as are a few of them. But it's the willingness to accept that, and even with a display like today from Matt Hurt, great maturity. He came out, had 14 points in the first quarter, and then really didn't get a lot of opportunities from then on, but he didn't look like he was overreaching or going out there to get on his own agenda. As we take a look at the next 5 games for the Southeast Melbourne, and you know, there's no such thing as an easy schedule, but
correct.
There are some that are less difficult than others.
Well, the 2 Cairns games, with Cairns being battered right now.
And Sydney in their current state. Now,
I'm going to stay off Sydney for a while, Andrew.
They are going to get better. There's no doubt about that. But right now, they've got an element of vulnerability. How long that remains, we wait and see. But some light at the end of the tunnel for Phoenix.
All of a sudden, their record looks a whole lot better than what it was from a 0-5 start to the season. Josh King has very quickly put his stamp on this group. Angus Glover said it, he's animated and he rides every possession, and he's over there with Steph.
He sure is. You're the man of the moment. Everyone wants to hear from the new coach. Did you enjoy your first home win?
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. The guys played hard. They stuck to the game plan. It was basically an energy game. That's what it came down to, and our guys played with a lot of energy for 4 quarters.
What's impressed you most about the guys this week?
Just their willingness to learn, willingness to get better. I think these guys are hungry. I said it the other night. They seem to really like each other and get along, and yeah, they've won 4 out of 5, so they're off to a good start now, and hopefully now they got to keep it up in practice.
On a personal note, have you had time to enjoy Melbourne since you got here?
I've walked around Melbourne. It's a very nice city. It's a very nice city. So yeah, happy to be here.
Thank you.
He said he rides every possession. He might need a Strepsil after that. He's worn that throat out, but he would come away very satisfied with what he saw today. 100-76 the final score. The Phoenix go to 4-6, and we are back to wrap it up after this.
The Southeast Melbourne Phoenix continue their resurgence, turning their season around 2-0 on the weekend. And most importantly, John Cain Arena was rocking for their first home win of NBL 25. Josh King looks to be stamping his mark on this team. He's found a way to get Nathan Sobey going. He said he's a defensive coach. They put up 100 points. It's working on both ends.
It is, and the rebounds are quite the same. Obviously, the assists are exactly the same, but the big one, of course, is the big margin. And a lot of it came down to the shooting percentages. The Phoenix ended up at 50% from the field. It's very difficult to win when your defense is not as sharp as it needs to be, only shooting 33% from the field, which was the case for the Perth Wildcats. So they've got to a lot to think about. At the end of the day, they went 1-1 on a pretty difficult weekend for them. So, but the signs here tonight weren't great.
Well, they got significant contributions from Nathan Sobey, Matt Hurt, and Angus Glover. Glover did a fantastic job, and Josh King was really good in coming up with a game plan with a short turnaround after the Tasmania game, Andrew. The players executed it perfectly, and he led them. He looks like a leader of men and exactly what the Phoenix need.
A leader of men. I'll tell you what, he spends more time in a defensive stance than plenty of the players out there on the court. He is down there. Hopefully you got some sturdy pants, because those things are a chance to rip.
Channeling what's required at the defensive end as we take a look at the ladder, and you can see how tight it is. So it's a great recovery by the Phoenix, now at 4 and 6, as you mentioned, 4 out of the last 5, and the Wildcats hanging in there at 4 and 5, and they've got a couple of very, very important pieces sitting in street clothes on the sideline that they'd be hoping to get back as soon as they possibly can.
And you're right, Andrew. Without Windler and without Cotton today, it was a severely handicapped team, and perhaps too much for them to try and come down here and win on the road. But I don't care. Anytime they play a game out in Perth, they are a chance to win. So this team is still dangerous.
Nathan Sobey looks to be finding his feet a little bit. He's a good enough player. We always knew it was going to come, but the earlier it can come, the better, Andrew.
Absolutely, and he was a big signing in the off-season. He's an Olympian. We know what he's capable, but he seemed to have a bit more pep in his step in his athleticism. He was contesting players at the rim. He was getting to the rim himself, and he was given too much of a leash by the Perth Wildcats. His ability to get deep into the paint, it was a challenge for the Wildcats. And when he's in this frame of mind and he's patient and he's working within the system, he is one of the better players in the competitions as we look at the Blackmore's shot chart. And it's the 3-ball, which he's always got room for improvement in that area. And a couple of those 3 balls, they were just poor shot selection.
Is there a bit of an elephant in the room that Derek Walton Jr., he's been out while this sort of resurgence has happened, and Sobey's been playing better basketball when he's sort of been on his own out there?
No, I don't know about that. I think Josh King will have a great manner and a great scheme to make all those pieces fit. I think the scheme and the way they were attacking it wasn't right, but I think now will be a different situation.
Well, to me, the biggest and the bigger elephant in the room is the bloke that was sitting on the other side in Mitch Creek and talked that maybe they'd be looking at him getting back in.
We're trying to deal with what we know.
How you would incorporate him now? That would shake things up a bit. Now they found their groove. But I agree with Derek. I don't think Derek Walton. There's going to have to be some changes with Derek Walton Jr. coming back because of playing time and the role that you're going to have on the floor. But that's a little easier than bringing him back.
So you're saying, I'm just trying to bring maybe a couple of media narratives into this, saying Derek Walton Jr. coming back in. But I'll tell you what, it's good signs for Southeast Melbourne. Josh King looks to be the man. But coming up, Sydney Kings taking on Tasmania. Now, I heard before someone say must-win clash. I don't believe there is such a thing at this point of the season, but one of these teams is going to be very much under the magnifying glass. Kings, Tassie, not far away.
Let's go.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.